Governance and revenue expert Miyelani Holeni, he joins us now via video link just to weigh in on what the minister has said in terms of an update on the country's energy status. Thank you so much for your time. I want us to start with the update in as far as load shedding is concerned. I mean, there's been no load shedding now for 138 days, but the minister was quick to warn that the country is not completely safe from further load shedding. When we look at these prospects, and what are we reading then into Eskom's performance in as far as improvements are concerned, especially when we talk about maintaining power plants?
I think the improvements that are coming through are most welcome, and we're seeing that the improvements are as a result of focusing on the basic things of making the technical side of things easy to manage, bringing in leaders who are well experienced to be able to lead those technical difficulties that were experienced, as well as motivating the people within the plants that are there. And I think for more of what we are seeing from the minister is that there's a rigor with regards to how the measurements are being done, your electricity availability factors, and those other factors as well in terms of breakdown and so on. So the rigor that has been brought forward with the improvements, as well as the focus on all of those power stations that perhaps were supposed to have been mothballed, or some which were really struggling, is assisting greatly with that improvement in the availability of electricity. We've seen, and is mentioned, the three power stations that have improved the most, and I think that is welcome, because the Eskom is known for its excellence and its engineering excellence, with the cadre of people who are able to manage those power stations, as well as the artisans that ensure that the electricity is available when it should. So the issue of load shedding, I think, is one that we can safely say is under control, in as much as there's still caution that it may not completely be rid of us.
While the minister is pleased, with the improved energy availability factor, of course, there being Eskom, as a result of Eskom's performance, he is ringing the alarm, though, saying there is a rising affordability crisis, which is undermining electricity access and increasing the cost of living for households. How concerning is this?
It's a huge concern, because I think since the advent of electricity, in one of the articles that we wrote in our thought leadership piece as DSO Consulting, we observed that about 400 electricity prices have increased by over 450% since the advent of load shedding, and that is significant, because you can look at the rise in wages. They have not nearly reached. Some of them were around inflation, some were even below inflation. And coupled with the slow economy, where there have been job losses, increases have not materialized in wages to anywhere near what electricity has increased by. So that number of, or at least the significant number that electricity prices have increased by, have now caused, a problem of affordability within the various households, not only in the low-income household, but all the way up, to the upper echelons of high earners within, the country. So the amount of electricity usage, of course, is one that has increased as well over the time, with households, as well, or at least population within municipalities increasing. So the issue of affordability is one that is one, it needs to be solved, very quickly. Coupled with the fact that when Eskom increases its tariffs, municipalities also use the same formula. So there is no shielding of the consumer with regards to perhaps there'll be a slowdown with the way that the municipalities are going to be increasing, because they are also looking after their margins as municipalities. So the tariff model and the tariff regime is one that we've been talking about in the past, that it needs to be looked at, especially because Eskom relies on payments from municipalities or its clients to be able to continue with its maintenance, or to do its build and to run itself, without looking at other available sources of financing or funding.
Yeah, I mean, just on that issue of making electricity affordable while maintaining debt, what role then do municipalities play here, especially given, what Salga has been reporting on in as far as municipal debt is concerned, and how this is also contributing to load reduction at local level? What then needs to happen for municipalities to be able to run this, better so that we can see improvement at that vantage point?
Municipalities, especially those who have always had electricity departments, and even those that may not have an opportunity now to be energy providers. And what do we mean by energy providers? The mix of electricity or at least energy sources that are available. We have renewable sources that have now come into stream. So municipalities in this case have a leeway to be able to play as energy providers by, for instance, investing in microgrids, for instance, as well as supplying the solar panels to lower income households or even other households on a finance basis where the households are going to pay back to the municipality. So what we're saying is that municipalities need not rely only on Eskom, but need to look at how they become energy providers and diversify the supply of electricity or energy into the household by taking advantage of the renewables. In that way, they would at least be able to reduce the amount of electricity that they purchase from Eskom and have at least a margin that will come from their microgrids, the supply of solar panels and inverters and batteries where possible. So municipalities also need to innovate and take the process further, as opposed to waiting to be a price taker from Eskom and become a generator, as they have been allowed, to generate, at least 100 megawatts of electricity within the new policy that has been promulgated. So it is important that municipalities look at as well the indigents, which has been mentioned with regards to free basic electricity, and those are the target of the population where the solar panels and the solar geysers and so on could be provided in lieu of supplying that free basic electricity, to still be able to have sufficient money from the grant that they receive from National Treasury, so that it's not all consumed in their operational requirements.
Absolutely. Miyelani, thank you so much for your time and coming to the show. Of course, Miyelani Holeni is a governance and a revenue expert.